Hey guys, welcome back to the story where we're either all directly or in a roundabout way responsible for killing someone's father, Heaven's Secret 2. And this time, we are in a roundabout way responsible for killing Mimi's father, Maman, who is a very, very cool guy and will be sorely missed because, seriously, he was freaking awesome. Only second best father, I think, to Winchester, who's my favorite. I will die on that hill. He was very awesome. So we guess we're gonna see how this goes, and I wonder if it's gonna be another case of our main character trying to force their way back into Mimi's good graces, as opposed to letting her have her time like she wanted when her father was killed. Because our main character is can be a bit self-absorbed, but well, we'll see. As a teenager, I dated boys, but those few romances failed. Every time, I'd hope that I'd become happy and feel whole in someone else's arms. But it was just the opposite. Only in solitude could I find myself. Okay. It seems like that doubles down on the theme that maybe Mimi needs some time alone. So we'll see if she gets it. Episode 7, The Master's Ball. I held the invitation to the ball in my hands. We're having another dance party? The paper was heavy. Inscribed scarlet patterns cut through the text like a river of blood. The slightly raised, gilded letter said that Plague was pleased with me and would be happy to see me at a special ball where the wisest immortals would gather. Those who swore allegiance to the horsemen. I laid the dress I chose out on the bed, but I spent about 10 minutes blankly looking from the dress to the invitation and back, consumed by doubts about whether I had made the right decision. Mimi hated me. Maman was dead. Who knew? Maybe Plague set it all up and there was no order of resistance? What if I was going crazy and there was no hope? I threw the invitation on the table and started getting dressed. Okay. Well, this one matches the best with my wings. But why do I feel like, oh, that was actually quite lovely. But why do I feel like these are tied to stats? If I'm calm and mouth of the volcano kind of seem like respectively composure and temper, right? So I feel like we go with this one then. Although I do like the other one better, to be honest. Stop at this one. Stew. I feel like this one will match the other dress a little bit better. So we kind of go with this one. Good enough. The event was being held on a separate island near the academy. Lucifer accompanied me to the ball. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere alone. Other guests were flying next to us, so I kept quiet and didn't even try to talk to my master. Lucifer was also silent and looked serious. He was in a new suit. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Now Lucifer wore the suit at official events. Okay. An angel played the piano quietly at the reception. Hardly anyone danced. Immortals sat around at tables. The men looked like puffy penguins in tuxedos. The women were covered in fur and rhinestones, as if they were trying to distract from their wan, fearful faces. I knew many of the guests. They worked in the Citadel or outside it and had some power. Maybe they're faking it just like me. They need another leader to follow. For now, there's no one else but the horsemen, and they have to wait. Plague sat at a table with Malbont, Torrendo, and Satan. Honestly, I mean, they could have been faking it following you guys, too. I mean... Who's to say? Like, you assume that you were a good leader, but, I mean... They might not have felt so. Malbont leaned over to the horsewoman and whispered something in her ear. As soon as I saw Malbont, my cheeks flushed, my heart started to beat faster as I remembered our kiss. Okay, I'm on Malbont's save file, which was just an experiment for him. A new suit. Okay. It's so pointy. Yeah. Wow, they would put a lot of detail in this. That's pretty cool. Plague immediately looked at Lucifer and me. She waved her hand. No, you're not coming. Lucifer stopped me with a gesture as I stepped towards them. Why? Your place is with people like you. He nodded at a nearby table. My gaze immediately caught on Mimi's straight back. Ooh. That's so sparkly. Yeah, that's really pretty. Was she also invited? Christopher brought her. Go. Lucifer pushed my hip, gently pushing me towards the table. Our eyes met for a fraction of a second, but the moment passed and Lucifer looked only at Plague. I went to the table. I pulled back a chair, sat down, and timidly raised my eyes. Mimi. She angrily threw a napkin, which she had nervously crumpled in her hands, on the table. Shut up. Shut up or I'll kill you, I swear. Her eyes flashed red with anger, but I knew it was taking a lot of effort for her not to burst into tears. She didn't want to listen to me, and what could I say to her? I wasn't allowed to talk about the order. And as Eliza said, it'd be safer for us all if she hated me. At the end of the hall, Dina appeared arm in arm with Lilu. See, why are they always doing him dirty? There's nowhere near as much detail as there is on the others. Right, they just added like a little belt buckle and shoulder bib has, and that was it. This is just getting rude at this point. Dina behaved so freely and naturally, as if such gatherings were normal for him. He smiled when necessary, remained silent when circumstances required it, and shook hands when expected, like he's been coached. But as soon as he wasn't in the spotlight, his face suddenly seemed tired and haggard, and his eyes dimmed and became impenetrable. Dina noticed that I was watching him. He was about to turn away, but then looked at me again and quirked the corner of his lips in a barely noticeable smile. What's bothering you, Dina? What wouldn't be bothering him? The door swung open and wore into the accompaniment of loud applause. He smiled broadly, proudly bowing first in one direction, then the other. Approaching his sister, he loudly declared, I see you've impressed with my victory, but I hasten to assure you that you've yet to see what I'm truly capable of. Looks nice. And we all know she always dressed well. My true power, like the taste of glyph, will be revealed gradually. He bowed again and was about to sit down at the table when the other immortals dragged him away. They were vying for his attention and trying to curry favor with flattery. Finally, everyone took their seats. Christopher and Astaroth sat at a table with Dino and Lilu, but later on some of them moved to our table, probably sensing the tension between Mimi and me even from a distance. I don't remember there being this many celebrations, even in peacetime. Christopher sat facing Mimi, his hand rested on the back of her chair. He smiled as if trying to cheer Mimi up. Oh. She just snorted and shrugged her shoulders without even looking at him. She did acknowledge him, though. Dino sat next to me. He seemed to want to say something, but hesitated. I kept wanting to ask you. Yes? We spoke in whispers and both smiled for some reason. How are you and your father doing after what happened? Dino's smile faded and he looked away. I'm trying to understand and accept him. I hope you understand me too. And I hope you don't hold grudges. Against you or your father? Because those are two different things to me. He looked at Plague, then back at me. I tried to play the bad guy, but I'm not good at it. Plague sees through my lies, so I'd rather not play. You don't need to. Arya, they're asking about you over here. Plague waved me her hand, beckoning me. Christopher, Mimi, and Dino watched me tensely. Arya, do you happen to know Torindo? He sat next to Satan, and they were watching me like prey. They despised me, and at the same time were glad that I was finally trapped. I left the fight too early to appreciate the deeds of Rebecca's daughter. However, it's a pity to see you at the bottom again. I was going to say that. This one is probably temper. However, it also doesn't seem smart when we're trying to play the game. I don't know. Okay. The horsewoman laughed and theatrically wiped her mouth with a napkin as if to erase her laughter from the memory of those present. You're so witty. He spoke slowly, feigning politeness. His gestures were smooth and somewhat delicate. Satan wasn't eating. His plate was empty. He just clenched his fork angrily. I didn't come here to waste time on this unclaimed. You're so old, Satan, but still stingy with your time. You asked me to report, mistress. His behavior and the way he spat out his response were almost insulting, but Plague seemed to enjoy it. Of course. You can continue. Plague motioned for me to sit down at their table. With my departure, hell fell into chaos. Without the necessary discipline, the demons became headstrong. It took some time to remind them where they belonged. I showed the underworld what would happen to those who go against the horsemen. Did you close the gates of hell? Yes. Now, any mortals destined for hell won't be able to enter, and will end up in non-existence instead. Good. It still remains to close heaven. Have a lead, mistress. Soon we will find those keys to Shepherd's Gate. Melbon, are you sure they can lock up heaven? Yes. Can creatures like you touch them too? Yes. What about the child? Torindo glanced at me. I paid close attention, trying to memorize everything they were discussing, but at the same time I pretended not to listen. Mistress, I'm not sure outsiders should hear this information. Plague finished her glass and nodded. You're right. The pet should go for a walk. Satan and Lucifer, you too. She waved her empty glass. Melbon, it's empty. Make me another one, or give me the damn recipe. I'll make some more. I know what you're up to. Only then did I notice that Plague was pretty drunk. But how was that possible? What kind of concoction was Melbon giving her? It's good that you understand. He was cold and unafraid, and she looked at him with a hatred that hadn't been there before. Lucifer and Satan exchanged glances and dutifully followed her orders. So Plague doesn't let them in on her special projects, only Torindo. That's interesting. I moved away from the table, but I wanted to hear what they were talking about. I took a few inconspicuous steps. As I fiddled with the leaves of a decorative plant, I pretended to be more interested in it than the nearby whispers. Torindo noticed what I was doing and told Plague about it, but she brushed it off. Speak already. My patience is running out. A secret follower helped us find another child. The poor thing is still small. He'll probably die. Are you sure this kid could handle it? Without a doubt, that's exactly the kind of kid that should do it, considering what my despondent brother carries with him. Does she mean that kid that she's been hanging around this whole time? Her gaze grew distant, clouded by images of the past. He probably hopes his seal won't be broken. But we've been waiting for this for so long. We've been waiting for the Book of Life to be found. And all the seals will be broken. I hastily moved away before they had the opportunity to pay any more attention to me. They found the lost Book of Life? They need to break its seals? But what for? And why do they need children? I had more questions than answers. Plague didn't make me leave. She let me hear that on purpose, but why? Shelly doesn't consider me a threat, or she's mocking me. Not a threat. Maba returned. A waiter trotted after him, full glasses clinking. A new batch is ready. Finally. Oh, I can see in her eyes. She does look a little glassy. Plague drank another glass in one gulp. Leaning back in her chair with a contemptuous grin, she stared at War, who was talking enthusiastically about something with the immortals. Just look at him. He doesn't seem to understand that he's feared and not admired. Satan for you? Oh, I guess you say he's taking it in stride, I guess. I don't know, but it's upsetting to watch. I mean, you're upsetting to watch too, but as soon as my brother arrived, he began getting all the attention. Have they forgotten about my power? Where's Kira? She's at the academy. She should have been invited. She's also part of all this. Okay, so it might be the child she's talking about. She's actually drunk. I looked at Melbon. What is he doing to her? Melbon looked at Plague with a deep gaze that hid many thoughts and emotions. His facial expressions barely changed. That one's hilarious. I was stupid to think he was really Plague's slave. Yeah, you were stupid. Quite often. Melbon has always been a lone wolf, following his own path, whatever it may be. He must have a plan of his own, and for that, he needs to be close enough to Plague that she depends on him and won't get rid of him in a fit of rage. That drink. She doesn't know how to make it. She can't read the recipe in Melbon's head. But she's become addicted to it, and therefore to Melbon. That thought gave me chills. He looked at me and smiled slightly. What are you up to? War approached us. Compared to the downcast Plague, he looked cheerful and full of life. I had a chat with Satan here. Sister, I think you underestimate immortals. This one has the blood of the gods running through his veins. Don't compare a drop to an ocean, brother. Satan, you let her manipulate you. But who would know better than you that such games aren't over until you fight back? The same temper and rage that consumed Lucifer seethed in him, but Satan was wise enough not to let an outburst of anger ruin everything. I will serve the horsemen as long as my help is needed. But we don't need your help, my friend. These are all the games, don't you see? Just like what you're doing right now, leave that to others. You hate me, sister. Doesn't that hate only make him grow stronger? War laughed and went on, surrounded by guests. So if he makes her hate him like that, then he wins. I think I underestimated him. It's not for the immortals' nervous movements and words. One might have thought they actually liked war. Plague finished yet another glass and noticed our glances, angrily shouted, "Go away. Leave me." The horsemen can affect each other as much as they can affect us. I tried to remember everything that might be useful to the Order of Resistance. Arya, stay. Since when did she call me by my name? Plague propped her head under her hand as she watched War chat with others. For the first time, I thought about their former lives and the world they had come from. How they grew up, how they interacted with each other. Was Plague capable of experiencing loneliness, anxiety, and fear? Of course she is. Do you want me to tell you how to kill my brother? It was too good to be true. It seemed that time stopped and all the immortals disappeared, and only Plague and I remained, frozen before the moment of truth. I was seized with anticipation and expectation, even if I tried not to get my hopes up. Why are you telling me this? Do you want to know or not? I'll be glad to know, mistress. Plague toward her glass wistfully, smiling at her own thoughts. Each of us brings death and takes strength from other immortals. War sows hatred and feeds on it. But hatred cannot coexist with love. She moved a little closer, glancing at her brother, who was somewhere behind me, and again grinned maliciously. War is the easiest to kill. You just need to teach him to love. Plague looked at me, and her eyes suddenly lost their haziness and became sober and insistent. If he loves you, you can kill him. What's in it for you? Like, I thought you wanted him here. Are all four of them being here not necessary? She smiled once again. We all play games. She leaned back in her chair and tossed a glass. It shattered with a loud clink, and shards flew in every direction. The waiter began to clean them up on his knees. Plague laughed briefly, then fell silent and twisted her lips in disgust. I don't like this place. It doesn't suit us. She got up and slowly walked towards her brother. I looked at War and listened to what he was saying. You are either with me or against me. There is no other choice. Everyone must take a side or be destroyed. He said it all with a smile, with a kind of childish simplicity. But his low voice and smooth manner managed to be both terrifying and alluring. I wanted to believe his every word. I wanted to follow him. This must be a trap. Plague can't be crazy enough to tell me a secret like that. Plague hugged War, whispered something in his ear, and dragged him towards me. What is she doing? Brother, you're not paying attention to my little pet at all. Why don't you two dance? With her? He looked at me in surprise. There was no contempt, no arrogance, only confusion. She's a pet. Why should I talk to her? He seemed to perceive me as a thing or a piece of meat that should have been served for dinner, but he was being so sincere that somehow I wasn't even offended. She's not just a pet anymore. She is our warrior. War stared at me again, even more surprised. She can't even break a match, and you call her a warrior? Why are you messing around like this? War grinned and held out his hand to me. Well, let's dance, pet. I jumped up from my seat, gave him a slightly annoyed look, and put my hand in his. He led me to the center of the hall and put his arm around my waist, but he kept me at a distance as if he was uncomfortable or embarrassed by my proximity. War fixed his gaze somewhere above my head. I kept silent. Dino froze near his table, clutching the stem of his glass in his hands. He looked devastated. Why? Lucifer looked only at the horseman with open animosity. Baba didn't take his eyes off me. I knew that he noticed every nervous movement, every emotion, and every change in my expression. What is going on? Mimi was talking about something with Christopher, but when she saw me with War, she fell silent and stopped paying attention to her companion, who was trying to prove something to her. She only looked at me. What does this dance even mean? Why are they all like that? Why is Dino devastated? What is happening? So, you're on our side? Is that a reflection of like my relationships up to this point? Should I take that to mean that we've made some friends? So you're on our side? I shuddered when I heard his voice. Entirely. That's good. But your mother ran away. She's against us. If you see her, what will you do? Ain't that the question? Me and my mother, we go back and forth. I don't even know. She would definitely kill me for her goals, and I feel like I should do the same in turn. And I feel like she would take that as a point of pride. I feel like at this point, that's just how a relationship has to be. Like, whatever helps us succeed our goals, that's what we gotta do. And the other person has to just respect it. Like, I know that she cares about me. I know that in her own way. But that relationship is just tough. I'll be glad to see her. I feel his muscles tense up. In matters like these, family ties should be of no importance to you. If your mother was against us, she is our enemy. Do you really believe what you're saying? War looked directly at me for the first time. What kind of question is this? I understand it's your nature, but do you honestly believe all this? Do you like to hate and when others hate? It makes me stronger. But do you like it? For a while, he just looked into my eyes, and he stared forward again. His long, strong fingers tightened around my waist. Compared to him, I felt like a straw doll that he could tear apart or simply blow away with his breath. The horseman is strong, but somewhat childlike. It's funny. You think you can affect what happens. Everything was predetermined hundreds of thousands of years ago. This battle may have been paused, but we will finish it. He only talks about one thing. If I want to make him fall in love with me, I need to change the topic. But am I really going to do this? Plague must be lying. It can't be true. What should I ask him? What is friendship but the invention of weakened mortals who fear loneliness and having enemies? Having a friend is knowing someone cares about you and values you. War was surprised at first and smiled contentedly and said, I'm afraid that's impossible. I know, but maybe just a little. You have no power. You're an empty vessel. His words hurt me. I blinked and looked away. You're right, but it wasn't always like this. An immortal strength is part of him. I'm sorry. I didn't expect to hear something like that from him. I instinctively squeezed his hand, then quickly looked into his eyes. Thank you. I'm the horseman of war. I have no equal in combat. No, that's not what we're talking about. What do you like when no one sees you? My question baffled him. Why do you ask? I'm curious. His face suddenly changed, his features smoothed slightly, becoming softer. Back in my world, there's a river of blood. I love sitting on its bank. Okay. My sister considers you weak and worthless. I agree, but we have something in common. It's not surprising, because we are all children of the universe. I've been to a river in this world too, but I didn't like it. It was colorless and too noisy. You're more human than I thought. He stopped abruptly and looked at me with some hostility. All you need to know about me is that I will bring your world to ruin. He regrets telling me too much. Yeah, why'd you call him human, buddy? I let go of his hand and took a step back. Then I curtsied and said, looking into his eyes, Thank you for the dance, master. War only nodded slightly, but he looked both perplexed and interested. My pleasure. He returned to Plague, sat down at the table, and drank a glass of Glyph. I watched him for a while. War can be brutal and cold, but there's a lot of fire inside him and a longing for calmness. During the dance, you managed to learn quite a bit about War. Your questions pleasantly surprised him. Tyrande returned. He was leading a woman by the hand. Next to her was a boy. He looked alert and wild like a wolf cub. Probably remember this. War patted the child's shoulder. Plague talked about something with Tyrande, and the woman and the boy moved to the far corner of the hall as if to avoid the immortals. I quietly made my way to them so as not to attract unwanted attention. The woman shuddered when I addressed her, and the boy only lazily turned his head in my direction. I haven't seen you around before. My name is Arya. I extended my hand, but the stranger stared at me as if I had pointed a gun at her. What's your name? Ylissa. This is my son, Titu. It's quite pretty. The sounds that T2 made were familiar to me. They were heavy, drawn out, as if coming from somewhere deep in his belly. I couldn't confuse them with anything else. How does your son know the language of darkness? Out of everyone I've met, only Malbot knew this language. Instead of answering, Yulissa pressed her son to her and looked at me even more fearfully. I didn't mean to scare you, I just wanted to know you. Luma seemed to calm down a bit. She released her son and even smiled meekly. Do you know Plague? Yes. Did she hurt you? Yulissa looked thoughtfully at the horseman. Plague isn't all that bad if you're obedient. Have we met before? How long have you been dead? What? You're human, aren't you? When did you become immortal? More than 10 years ago? Then we haven't met. Were you immortal too? No. Yulissa smiled sadly at her thoughts. You know, I haven't spoken in a long time. Sometimes I imagine that I'm talking to my sister, so I don't get so lonely. Who is your sister? Where's your sister now? She is no longer with me. I'm sorry. I'm afraid the young unclaimed is too curious. Yulissa, you and T2 shouldn't talk to this person. Okay. But we were just talking. Sometimes that's all it takes. Yulissa, let me take you to the next room where you can rest. Thank you, Lord Terinda. I don't like the first 4 letters of that. Too close to Shefa. The boy addressed Terinda, whose expression became stern but attentive. Not now, T2. Do you know the language of darkness? He stopped and smiled, but somewhat nervously. What makes you think that's the language of darkness? Are you an idiot? How close do you think I'm tied to Malbon? What are you talking about? I know what it sounds like. I can't speak it. Now let us pass. So he can't understand it. I reluctantly stepped aside. You can't speak it, but you understand it? The evening was beginning to annoy me. Everyone avoided me and fell silent as soon as I approached. It seemed that they had decided not to notice me. I looked around for Lucifer. He was furiously trying to prove something to his father, who looked at him as if he were a boy that didn't understand anything. Lucifer was no longer afraid of Satan. His father took his title back when he returned from non-existence, but Lucifer remembered who he was. He knew what it meant to sit on the throne and rule. Lucifer no longer bowed before his father out of fear or reverence. Dino danced with Lilu, but they didn't look like a happy couple in love. They whispered endlessly about something, and they both looked too focused and serious. And yet, seeing his hand on her waist and their closeness, realizing the intimacy of their relationship, I was seized by jealousy. Huh? What? For what? Oh, so am I on some sort of weird romance with Dino? How'd that happen? I guess half those friendship options were also romance options? I don't know. I turned away. I leaned against a column and looked sadly into the distance. Dark clouds floated lazily across the starry sky, and the sound of thunder in the distance reminded me that the world wasn't ending then and there, and perhaps there were places where everything was fine. From afar, the flying islands seemed like small cobblestones or fragments of an asteroid. Maybe the horsemen were ordinary aliens who decided to enslave the whole world. And maybe all those conspiracy theorists were telling the truth when they went on and on about being abducted for experiments. I smiled at my childish thoughts as if for a moment I'd gone back to being immortal. I turned around sharply, feeling someone's gaze on me. Malbot was standing a short distance away by another column. He looked at me, but then slowly looked away and also stared at the night sky. You shouldn't stick your nose where it doesn't belong. Thanks for the advice. I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm warning you. It looks like Plague has suspicions about the Order of Resistance. I clung to the railing. What order are you talking about? Melba didn't react in any way to my desperate attempt at hiding my connection to the Order. He continued, "Stay out of my way." "So you're..." I moved close to him and lowered my voice to a whisper. "Part of the order? You think he would answer you here?" We don't know which parts are blocked and which parts are not. So having him directly answer you about that is probably too dangerous to happen right now. Mama pursed his lips as if they were beneath him. "No, I'm on the horseman's side." From the way he said it, I could tell he wasn't lying. But that only made things more confusing. It really doesn't. It really doesn't, okay? He has to be on their side to get to the goal of what he's trying to get to, even if he's with the order. Like, this is not that hard to say. Like, both things can be true. But then why are you like this, Arya? Goodness. Malbon quickly turned, grabbed my wrist, and squeezed it lightly. I froze, frightened by his icy gaze. "Remember the time we fought each other, and I asked you to join me?" "Yes." "It was all about your strength. I needed it. Now, that power is gone, and you shouldn't get in my way." He spoke with calm, terrible indifference, like a robot reciting text embedded in its memory. "I don't believe you. You wanted me to be on your side for more than just my power." "That's not true. You never lied to me. You said you'd kill everyone I cared about if they turned against you. You fulfilled your promise." His eyelashes fluttered, and then that simple human response dispelled the robotic impression I had of him. "Then here's my next promise to you." He came closer, looming over me like a stone statue, just as beautiful and impassive. "If Plague tires of you playing detective, she'll kill you or ask me to do it. You will die. No one will save you. If I didn't know you, I think you were worried." And again a shadow passed over his face, so quickly it was as if it never happened. Malbon stepped back and turned away. I looked at him expectantly. "Do you want them to destroy the whole world? Why would you need that?" I took him by the arm and looked into his black eyes. "You're looking at everything as black and white again. Don't be like them. It's not that simple." He covered my fingers with his and squeezed them. His hand was hot and rough, his gesture decisive and domineering, reminiscing of his entire essence. I suddenly wanted to press myself close to him, tell him not to do it, and ask for his help. He was so strong and confident, I wanted to learn from him. And yet, you're not learning from him. You're just kind of questioning his alliances over and over again. Why don't you just follow his example? Malbon took my fingers and slowly removed them from his elbow. Enough. He turned around and headed towards Plague. After our conversation, I sat down in a chair and wearily waited for the event to end. In the end, the ball became an exhausting, drawn-out affair where it was impossible to learn anything new, talk, or unwind. Finally, it came to a close, and Lucifer and I silently flew back to the academy. The whole next day I lay in bed thinking about everything I had heard. I was eager to tell the Order about it, and waiting for Plague to leave the academy was agonizing. The horseman finally flew somewhere after sunset. I clung to the window, not believing my luck. Ten minutes later, my boots were splashing through the puddles on the way to the cemetery. 1 second. 2 minutes later, my boots were splashing through the puddles on the way to the cemetery. I put a note with everything I had learned in the agreed-upon place. All I had to do was wait for an answer. I walked along the roads, pretending that I came there to think, to be alone, or to grieve about the past. As I was returning, I saw Dino and Lilu in the distance. They were arguing about something. At first I considered going around and slipping by unnoticed, but when I got closer, Lilu was gone. Seeing Dino alone, I darted behind a tree and, pressing close to the trunk, began watching him. Dino nervously ruffled his hair, and then he slammed his fist angrily against the pillar near the entrance to the Garden of Adam and Eve. I shuddered. It's hard for me to remember when I last saw him so angry. He's entitled to his feelings, whatever they are. I'll accept him no matter what. Sounds vaguely romantic. I feel like we gotta be careful here. Okay, friendship improved. Come out. I know you're there. He turned around. Dina looked tired, devastated. He didn't even try to hide it. What happened? Hopelessness. He smiled in such a forced way that my heart sank. What's going on between you and Lilu? You seem to be fighting all the time. He looked at me strangely, then smiled and shook his head. It's not like that. Not exactly. We just look at things a little differently, but we're on the same side. I'm starting to feel like the only side left is the horseman's. It's... A smile appeared on Nino's face again, as if that could erase the words that wanted to escape his lips. Instead of answering, he came closer and touched my shoulders. He started rubbing them in a simple, human way, not using his immortal abilities. It's cold out here and you can't control your body temperature. Are you cold? I've already gotten used to it. I don't notice it anymore. Dino's hand stopped and his expression changed. I'm truly sorry. If only I could fix things, if only I could do things differently. His thoughts and feelings seemed to suffocate him. And what would you do if you could change things? I'd protect you. I'd protect you the way I want. I started trembling under his hands. It hurt to hear those words. I wanted to erase them from my memory, close my ears and not hear anything, because as soon as I returned to my room, the loneliness would devour me. Okay, I clearly stumbled into a romance path somehow. I don't I don't know how that happened, but I'll explore that later. I'm pretty sure I'm going to open up a save file for him just for my own sanity of getting through this story, because every other romance in the story is quite exhausting. But yeah, that's not happening here. But we're only allowed to do that what the horseman ordered us to do. I looked away so Dina wouldn't notice the tears welling up in my eyes. It's really cold here. I'll go. Yes, of course. Go. He called to me when I was halfway there, but I pretended not to hear. Laura's response will come soon. I need to be ready for anything. Okay. So hopefully we course corrected a bit there by selecting the friendship and then the non-kiss option. Yeah. The wait was excruciating. I was lying in bed staring thoughtlessly at the wall and tapping the pillow with my finger, counting the minutes. At some point, my train of thought broke down entirely and dozens of incoherent thoughts began to pop up, one after another, in a chaotic bacchanalia. It felt like my brain was trying to solve a riddle. I considered my behavior and the behavior of those around me. While I was playing asking about Kira, how are all these kids connected? But as soon as I began to think about something else, about Malbot, with him, I seemed to be stronger, as if I drew on his strength, and at the same time, the understanding of my insignificance made me weaker. A knock on the door interrupted my introspection. I rushed to open it, delighted by the instruction from my thoughts. Miss Elena stood on the threshold, completely out of breath. Her wide eyes looked at me with a faint but desperate hope. What happened? Mimi, she wants to run away. Miss Lena grabbed my hand and clasped my fingers. Alright, you have to stop her, because she gets caught. Oh, Shefa. Ugh. If she gets caught, she'll have a hard time. I'm like, can it get any worse than the time she's having right now? But actually, yes, it can get worse. Because if they give her to someone else who's not Christopher because he needs to be handled, her situation can get a lot worse because Christopher is now already under her thumb. So I know he's not hurting Mimi. Ugh. There's a dome over the school, and if you leave its confines without an escort, Malbon or Plague and War will immediately come and kill you. Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that was there. Okay. She looked at me again with eyes full of helplessness and fear. That look seemed familiar to me. Where is she? What am I supposed to do? Let me go. Adie and Sammy held onto Mimi's hands, preventing her from soaring into the sky. Stop kicking. Let's talk. Mimi struggled, screamed, cried, and threatened them. She was like a fluttering bird in the hands of a hunter. Mimi? Arya, take this. Sammy threw me a golden cord to tie her wings. I'll help. We ran up to Mimi and, trying to dodge her chaotic strikes, began to tie up her wings. I can't be here anymore. Let me go. Instead of answering, we wrapped the cord around her, but Mimi kept wriggling free. It hurt to see her like that, broken, lonely, and embittered with the whole world. I won't let you die. It's done, sweetheart. Mimi's wings were being squeezed unnaturally by the restraint. She must have been in pain. She burst into tears, but not from that. She fell to her knees and covered her face with her hands. It's not fair. Eddie and Sammy let her go. We're sorry, Mimi. We bowed our heads sympathetically and stood at a distance, as if at a funeral. It is one for her father. Mimi didn't move and only cried, but then she suddenly jumped up and ran. Where are you going? She must be stopped. Ooh, can you not say his name? Lord. You of all people, his name probably shouldn't leave your mouth right now. Don't be a child? What? She's not being a child. Stop that. Which one do we go with? I don't want to say the first one. I really don't. Well, I feel like his composure, though. I hate it. I ran at her as fast as I could. Why are you following me? My mom will kill you if you run away. I don't care. We were quickly approaching a rocky wall, but there was a gap underneath. Mimi dropped onto her back from a run and deftly slid to the other side. Oh, shh. I almost hit my head on the sharp ledge, but I dodged it in time and crawled after her, albeit much more slowly. Mimi managed to get away from me. Faster, Arya, faster, come on. My chest ached from how fast I was running. My body was bound by the limits of human ability, but I didn't give up. I had to save Mimi from herself. I managed a final surge of speed and threw myself right onto her back. Hey! We tumbled to the ground. Ouch. Sorry. I pinned Mimi with the weight of my body, pressing her into the grit and small stones that broke away from the rocky surface. Then I rolled onto my back and struggled to catch my breath. I shouldn't have stopped training. You really shouldn't have. Like, even if you don't have power, like, your movements matter still. Like, we never see her trying to fight, and then suddenly she's like pulling off random feats like killing Satan. And it's just so jarring. I looked over at Mimi and froze when I saw that she was silently crying. She still lay on her stomach, but with her face buried in her hands. I hate you. I hate that you betrayed my dad. I want to get away from here. I crawled up to her and put my arms around her shoulders. The sight of her tears made everything inside me shrivel up and ache for her. I cried with her, hugging her as tightly as my weak human arms, devoid of immortal strength, would allow. At first, Mimi pushed me away, but she gradually relaxed. She rested her face against my chest, seeking support. And there we sat, dirty and disheveled, crying until there was no tears left at all. Her warmth, fragility, and trust, despite everything, were a glimmer of light for me, who'd been blinded by darkness. I clung in closer to her, as if I feared she might suddenly push me away and run again, without looking back towards death. But Mimi didn't. She raised her head, looked into my eyes, and then what the What even is this? First of all, I don't know how I got on the romance path here either. But okay, that's fine. What I also don't get is like, I don't think this is a moment for kissing. I really don't. Like, am I alone in this? Should I be thinking that hard about it? Maybe I should just let it go. I don't always like how they like to tie like emotional moments of somebody grieving or something like that, and or like going through a really hard time emotionally, and then equate it to intimacy, as if that's the only way to heal them. It's very strange. Like, there's a difference between a romantic moment and an emotionally heavy one. Like, it's hard to, what about, I don't know. I know what I'm saying, but I can't express it the way that I'm trying to express it, but like, it's just weird for me. I don't know, but thanks for stopping me. You've got Miss Elena to thank you for that. She told me about your intentions. She smiled weakly as if she had no strength left at all. You wanted to explain something to me. Now I'm ready to listen. Just tell me why you did it. I thought I was helping. I didn't know that my mom would really be there. I thought it was a trap for Plague. I'm sorry, Mimi. I'm ruining everything as usual. She wiped away her tears and sighed heavily. I can't believe he's gone. But the voices of Miss Lena and the guys came from the distance. They called out to us, sounding more excited and impatient by the minute. Look, it's time for us to get back. Yes, let's go. The one thing the story does do right, I do like the relationship between Mimi, 80, and Sammy, and Arya, Vicky. I do like their group dynamics, their little friendship that they have. I do like that. I feel like that's one of the only things emotionally I feel is done well. So I do like that a lot. We managed to get back through the gap and walk towards the school. The guys ran up to Mimi, hugged her, and began lightly, playfully mopping her shoulders and arms for worrying them. I think it's time we locked you in the basement. Don't do that again. I'm glad that everything worked out. Please forgive me. What are you doing? Do you want me to punish you? Christopher descended the stairs in a rage, shouting threats. Why don't you try it? He won't touch you, Mimi. Christopher, maybe we can keep this a secret? He nervously straightened his clothes and looked at Miss Elena strangely, as if she had offended him. I wasn't going to tell anyone about it, but if Plague finds out, I'll have to punish her. Christopher grabbed Mimi by the arm and pulled her towards the school. Leave her alone. He's not going to hurt her. I wanted to hate him at first, too, but he's not that bad. Mimi. She pushed Christopher away and turned to us. It's okay. I can handle it. Don't worry. She looked angrily at her master. If you touch me again, I'll break your arm, understand? And I'll break your arm if you put yourself at risk so stupidly. It's none of your business what I do. She ran inside. Crazy girl. I can understand her. It's because of you, Arya. Okay, thanks. Alright, I'm leaving. Bye. 80. Confused, I looked away from the school to the guy. Why are you confused? You didn't expect this? I was expecting them to confront you about this earlier. Maman shouldn't have died. The order must have answered my note by now. I ran to the cemetery. Arya? There was no more time for remorse. If war really could be killed, I should do it. Looking back without hesitation and completely devoid of fear, I headed to the appointed place. The note was already there waiting for me. I grabbed it without looking around to see if anybody's watching that I'm grabbing a secret note somewhere in the cemetery and eagerly began to read the perfectly aligned letters. I really... I'm gonna keep going. Act O-R. They want me to act. The message immediately burned. Ashes and small burnt pieces of paper slowly fell at my feet. You want me to make war fall in love with me? I don't know if they said that. They said act. I was determined, but their go-ahead made me realize that I wasn't ready to pretend. Surprise, surprise! You charging ahead before you're actually ready to do stuff. Yeah, that's your personality trait at this point. And how can I make a horseman fall in love with me? Love is just a release of oxytocin, right? My presence should please War. But what would he like? Talking about battles? Bowing to him? I'll bow to him. I'll say the words he wants to hear. The road back to the school was filled with doubts and endless thoughts. I don't know if that'll make him fall in love with you, though. Like, I feel like you need to balance on the line of saying words that he wouldn't particularly want to hear, along with being words that you want to hear. Like, just enough to, like, shock and awe, but stay in line, so to speak. Because right now he's, like, torn between the place of, like, this is my personality, this is who I am, this is who I should be, this is what gives me power, but I kind of like this stuff over here too, you know, but, you know, that's kind of like an afterthought, so much of an afterthought that it's shocking to me when you ask me about it. So it's like trying to aim towards that side stuff, but you also have to toe the line between not damaging his main mental image of who he is. And therefore, when I saw War was about to descend from the sky, everything inside me turned upside down from excitement. He landed behind me. The ground trembled and everything shook a little. I didn't turn around at first and stood rooted to the spot, confused about what to do. Plague's pet. I have a name. I turned to him and looked into his eyes. He began to approach me. My sister has spoiled you. Why did she let you talk to us like that? War walked past me, heading to the school. I shouted after him. She doesn't want us to be afraid of her. She wants us to feel strong and then to be disappointed and discouraged each time our strength isn't enough. War stopped and laughed softly. Yes, you're right. He went on. I need to spend more time with him if I want him to fall in love with me. Fall in love with you is quite a stretch. It's just a walk. Would you like to take a walk? With you? It's surprising. Or am I unworthy of that? Do you consider yourself an important person? Yes, she does. I used to be one. Not to us. I had to change tactics. I impulsively stepped towards him and managed a flirtatious, slightly embarrassed look. It'd be an honor to spend time with you, Master. He stared at me incredulously, then nodded sharply. You're the first one who's wanted to go for a walk with me instead of just talking and asking for something in return. You're jumping to conclusions. Maybe I just haven't made my request yet. He laughed and began to wander down the academy's halls. I joined him. Okay, so what is your request? We'll get back to that. Do you think I'll give you that much time? Fine. I'll let you know you better. This is your request? Yes. Maybe she asks for mercy? Plague knows nothing of it. No. No need. He shrugged his shoulders as if he felt uncomfortable and cautiously said, The longer I'm here, the weirder you seem to me. Well, soon I direct my powers toward Earth. The mortals will throw themselves into the flames of war and be plunged into an ocean of blood and hatred. I was preparing the Earth for this. I went down to them and directed their anger towards each other. I don't need to get blood on my hands when others can do that for me. Soon, my seed of hatred will sprout and you will be able to admire the result. So the horsemen must destroy not only our world, but the human world as well. It's used information, but it's not enough. No, that's not what I was asking. I want to know what the horseman of the apocalypse is like. Do you only like to fight? What do you dream about? What are you afraid of? I'm not afraid of anything. He laughed as if the very idea was absurd. And I dream of seeing the fruits of my labor. I've been waiting for this for so long. It's like you're telling me someone else's dreams. Don't you have any of your own? Like starting a family? Why would that be a question? Family? For us, there's no such thing. We don't have any need for it. In the time you've been here, I've learned a few things. We're all alike, even though our strength differs. And since we're similar, it means our needs must also be similar. You probably just never thought about it. War was silent, looking at his feet, then abruptly straightened up and gazed into the distance. What are you two cooing about? I shuddered at the sight of Plague. We're talking. These creatures seem to enjoy poking around in the minds of strangers. You're slowly but surely getting closer to his heart. Oh no. Oh boy. Okay. How does this end? Oh. So, like, what are we supposed to be? Like, in bed with him and then, like, just stab him in the chest or something? Like, how does killing him actually play out? Like, I feel like I would ask for a bit more details in this. It kind of seems like a vague plan. I doubt it would be that simple. Just because he's in love with you doesn't mean that he's not strong enough to still kill you. That takes away all his strength because he's in love with one person? I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm confused on that one. War looked at me distantly, then turned on his heel and walked away. Plague just laughed, winked at me, and followed her brother. And she's not going to get in the way of this because she wants this to happen. She knew what I was after. Is this a setup after all? Of course she knew what she happened. She's the one who gave you the idea. Of course it's also a setup. Now, whether it ends badly or good for you, I think the point is that she doesn't care if it ends badly for you or not. It's a chance that she can take that you might be able to do something, and if not, then, you know, nothing's lost. Whatever the case, I should still at least try. I returned to my room. This is gonna be messy. Is he like an actual love interest, or is this just like a story thing? Moonlight infiltrated the room, illuminating my crumpled bed and scattered belongings. I used to be orderly and meticulous, especially over the last few years, but apparently I've begun to express my inner mess externally as well. I wanted to wash away the presence of the horsemen, which seemed to seep into my skin. The emotions they sowed were like an infection that entered the blood, slowly spreading and growing stronger. I couldn't understand who was responsible for the oppressive sense of inevitability I was experiencing. Plague or me? Suddenly the door to my room opened silently. Frightened by the unexpected visit, I turned around only to exclaim in relief. Mimi, what are you doing? She resolutely approached me. I know what's happening. Ooh. What does she know? And don't ask me to rate this episode. I don't know how I feel about it. What does she know? And also, I want to know if he's an actual love interest. Hold on. Okay, but I gotta be careful here. I don't want to find spoilers, but... W... War. Oh no. Okay. Don't look at any details. But he's on here. Oh boy. Okay. It says possible endings. Oh boy. He's on here. Oh, he's like a full one then. What? Then how is it supposed to go? Oh no. That means you could like actually break his heart here. Okay. Is that sad or not? I mean, he is kind of bringing about the apocalypse here, but like I would feel bad if we. Why would I feel bad? I just would. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Well, that happened. Anyway, I just found something interesting. Am I gonna open up another save file for this? But you have to romance him a little bit on your main route. Like, I wonder how long this is gonna go on. Like, are we actually trying to go full tilt with this, or was it just to get the character to be okay with the idea of romancing him? Well, we'll be able to romance other horsemen too. Obviously not Plague. I'm pretty sure we were already explored that if we were gonna go that route. But yeah, and her being this, you know what? I don't know. I'm so confused. Okay, anyway. I'm going to end this part right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and show a like button, some love, subscribe to see more content like this, and I will see you next time. Bye.